We're on to victory someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we're on to victory someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we'll walk hand in hand someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we are not afraid today. The truth shall make us free. The truth shall make us free. The truth shall make us free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe the truth shall make us free someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall live in peace someday.
You may be seated. Thank you. Tell them there's 3 seats right here. No, go ahead. Right there's fine. There's 3 over here. Excuse me, is anyone sitting there? Go ahead. All right. All right. We have to, if you have an extra seat at your table, if you could let us know. We are truly full to capacity, so thank you. Thank you. And if you don't know them, make friends, all right? That's what this today is all about. Introduce yourselves. At this time, we will have the proclamations by our own Mayor Willie Rosas. As Mayor Rosas comes forth, we want to recognize the members of the City of Dunkirk, if they would please stand, from his administration, and our council members, City of Dunkirk, council members, staff, administration. Thank you. Mayor Landis is not with us today, but we also have George Borello, who is our new county executive for the County of Chautauqua. They will come in that order.
I would like to commend the leadership of our local branch of the NAACP for hosting this annual Martin Luther King Luncheon here in the City of Dunkirk. On behalf of our City of Dunkirk Common Council members and all of our city residents, I sincerely thank you. This is something very important that should be recognized. Dr. King's dream to have his children judged by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin is a dream that we need to realize, and we're still working on that. So at this time, I would like to acknowledge the efforts of this committee, and I would ask that you join me with a round of applause for them. The proclamation reads, City of Dunkirk, Office of the Mayor. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. believed in a nation of freedom and justice for all, and challenged all citizens to help build a more perfect union and live up to the purpose and potential of America. And whereas Dr. King had a dream, a vision of a world free of hatred and injustice, and his vision has changed the face of American society and continues to inspire people around the world. And whereas the theme for this year's annual Martin Luther King Jr. Luncheon is the power of love, building bridges, tearing down walls. And whereas we reflect on his words and vision, and we honor the man who taught by his example that nonviolent action is the most powerful revolutionary force for social change. Now, therefore, I, Wilfred Rosas, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Dunkirk, New York, do hereby proclaim Monday, January 15th, 2018, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day in Dunkirk, as a memorial to this ecumenical leader of nonviolence and the crusade for human rights, urging all residents to join me in rededicating ourselves to the principles of justice and equality for all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm George Borello, the new Chautauqua County Executive, and it's my pleasure to be here for the very first time. On behalf of the county legislature and myself, I want to say thank you. It is truly an honor to be here today and speak and give this proclamation. I'm 50 years old, and it was actually 50 years ago this year that Dr. King was assassinated, his untimely death. At a very young age, a very young man, he really, truly changed the world and changed the United States of America. So it's hard to believe that within my lifetime, some of the things that he faced and others faced. You think of these things of occurring so long ago, but really not so much. So I'm proud to be here and with this large group of diverse people, and I'm proud to read this proclamation. Whereas Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Baptist minister and civil rights activist who played a monumental role in ending the legal segregation of African American citizens in the South and other areas of the United States, and whereas he and his supporters were deeply committed to nonviolent protests such as boycotts, sit-ins, and marches to call for civil rights reforms, and whereas King remained devoted to achieving civil rights despite the hardships he faced of being harassed, discriminated, and imprisoned for his beliefs, and whereas his unwavering support led to the creation of two important acts that paved the way for the world we live in today, and whereas these acts included the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which ended racial segregation and outlawed discrimination in the workplace, schools, and other public facilities, and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which eliminated various devices that had traditionally been used to restrict African Americans from voting, and whereas, after his untimely death in 1968, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. continues to be remembered for his pivotal role in the civil rights movement, and whereas he is still honored today, especially by the Northern Chautauqua County Juneteenth Celebration Committee through its annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Luncheon. Now, therefore, I, George M. Borello, Chautauqua County Executive, do hereby proclaim Monday, January 15th, 2018, as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day in Chautauqua County, and I call upon all citizens to never forget the sacrifices Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made and the hardships he overcame to ensure all citizens of the United States, regardless of race, are treated equally. In witness whereof I have to here set my hand and cause the seal of the County of Chautauqua to be affixed this 15th day of January 2018. Signed, George M. Borello. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Rosas and County Executive Borrello. At this time, we're going to have Bianca Moore and Ms. Ivory Brooks. Would they please come forward for our scholarship presentation?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Today, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Luncheon Committee is happy to present the Janice D. Slayton Esquire Scholarship to 2 students who are worthy of this honor. However, first we would like to thank the many donors to the scholarship fund for their generosity. Your kindness has allowed us to present these scholarships, and you will find the list of those donors on your table. Janice D. Slayton Esquire was born in Dunkirk, New York, to Hewitt Slayton and the late Blanche Slayton. She went to be with her Lord Savior on Saturday, December 10th, 2011, after a 3-year battle with the breast cancer that she faced with her usual tenacity, determination, and strength. Janice attended Dunkirk High School, the State University of New York at Fredonia, where she graduated cum laude with a BS in Business Administration, and the University of Buffalo Law School, where she graduated in 2001 with a Juris Doctrine. Janice was employed as an assistant district attorney for the County of Chautauqua and later as an assistant public defender for the County of Chautauqua. As an African-American female, her heroes were all those who have paved the way so that she could have the opportunity to go to law school. She believed it was now her turn to give back to her community. She was a believer in education and had a love for young people. This scholarship is given in her memory to wish of giving back to her community. She truly believed it takes a village to raise a child. The first scholarship today is being presented to Miss Dontasia Grayson, who is the daughter of Jennifer Phillips. Miss Grayson is currently attending Jamestown Community College and is in her 2nd semester freshman. She's majoring in nursing with the plans to continue her studies to one day become a pediatrician. Miss Grayson is a graduate of Dunkirk High School and was a member of the Upward Bound program, Junior ROTC, a cheerleader, track team, German club, and BOCES nursing program. In giving back to her community, she has volunteered for Salvation Army, Chautauqua County Homes, MS Walk, Pink the Rink, Hunger Walk, Dunkirk Fredonia Meals on Wheels, and many others.
Would Dontasia Grayson please come forward? As Ms. Grayson. As Ms. Grayson comes forward, would her mother, Ms. Phillips, please stand?
I would like to say thank you, and special thank you to Ms. T. I love her, and also to Mr. Terrain, because I also did JROTC, and he really showed me how to be a leader, and I don't know, just thank you.
The second scholarship is being presented to Miss Destiny Paredes, who is the daughter of Candy Paredes. Miss Paredes is currently attending Jamestown Community College and is in her 2nd semester freshman. She is majoring in psychology. Miss Paredes plans to complete her studies at Jamestown Community College and transfer to the State University of Fredonia. Miss Paredes is a graduate of Dunkirk High School and was a member of the stage crew for musicals and plays at DHS, the track team, basketball team, and the Upward Bound program. In giving back to her community, Ms. Paredes has volunteered for School 5 Family Fun Night, the MS Walk, the Cancer Research, Pink the Rink, Juneteenth Celebration, the Salvation Army, Hunger Walk, and many others.
Would Destiny Paredes please come forward? As Destiny comes forward with her mother, Cindy Paredes, please, or I'm sorry, Candy Paredes, please stand.
Just want to say thank you to everybody that was part of the donation, and Miss T and Mr. Terrain. If it wasn't for Miss T, I wouldn't be part of the Upper Bound or had a lot of opportunities. Thank you.
Two young ladies that we can be very proud of. We say what, women power? All right, women power. Come on, women. Come on, women. Two young ladies that we are very, very proud of today. At this time, we're going to ask Lori Cornell if she would please come. She has a proclamation from the governor's office.
Thank you. And just when we thought the speaking program was over, right? I'll be brief. First, it's an honor to be with all of you here today on behalf of our Governor, Andrew Cuomo. I have to point out to your great Mayor, Willie Rosas. Where did Mr. Rosas go? Mayor Rosas. Right in front of my face. Great. I'm doing awesome this morning, Lori. Afternoon. I am proudly wearing my City of Dunkirk lapel pin. Thank you very much. He stays on me. Yes, thank you. Every time I set foot in this city. It's a very big deal. So thank you. It's an honor to be here, and along with our new county executive, my good friend George Borrello. He and I decided that, you know, despite the weather and coldness, we're wearing pink today. We're going to just pretend it's all over. Spring is here. Congratulations to our honorees today, our students Ms. Grayson and Ms. Paradis. Aren't they wonderful? Let's give them a round of applause again. And I'm also excited that I think one person was just a wee bit later than my son and I can always count on our great assemblyman. Thank you so much, Andy Goodell, for making me not be the furthest traveled or last person here, but thank you as well, our assemblyman, and also a recognition for our district attorney, Patrick Swanson. I'm from Dunkirk, as many of you know, so I go way back to Dunkirk High School, and I was a student when Sergeant Terrain first started out as the JROTC leader, and what an amazing job the JROTC, all of you students continue to do here in our community, and I'm proud that my son Ben is with us as well. Joining you on your day off has chosen to be here. So thank you very much, Ben, and congratulations, DRTC students. Now, I don't want to start a great debate, but I happen to be a fan of the Common Core. But there is one thing about the Common Core I've begun to notice as a parent of 4 children, and that's that the history modules don't necessarily follow chronological order. So one day, you know, my elementary school sons might be learning about the fall of communism and Ronald Reagan, the great hero of that day, and I can say, well, Mom was a little girl when Ronald Reagan was president. And then the next day, they might be learning about the end of slavery in America and great heroes like Harriet Tubman. And so I wasn't really surprised recently when they were doing the unit on slavery in the 3rd grade. My son Nick came home and he said, Mom, were you alive when Harriet Tubman led the slaves through the Underground Railroad? And I said, well, yeah, no, actually that happened over 100 years ago, honey. And yeah, no, Mom was not alive over 150 years ago, actually. And no, Mom wasn't alive. 41, not 150. But I was surprised when Nick then asked me, well, Mom, were you born in the North or the South? And I took out the map. I was born in Dunkirk, Nick. That's part of New York. It actually is. And it's in the northern end. You know that. And he said, oh, okay. Well, I'm relieved, Mom, because, if you'd been born in the South, you probably would have been a slave. And I know it's like I'm a slave in our house, basically doing everything on behalf of 5 men, but no, really, Nick, Mom wasn't, I couldn't have been a slave. And he seriously looked at me with the complete innocence. I think, the innocence that comes to be lost as we grow into adulthood. And he said, well, why not, Mom? And I said, honey, I'm white. And he said, what? He said, you couldn't be, white people weren't slaves? And it's that colorblind innocence of a child that I think moments like this, luncheons like this, community gatherings like this call us back to have that colorblind equality of an 8-year-old, which to him, it didn't matter what color his classmates' skin may have been. His teacher was calling all of the students to remember what it was like, the injustice that our country endured, and the calling of Martin Luther King Jr., upon which we are still moved toward. And so today, on behalf of our governor, I proudly present this proclamation, and again, the calling to reinvigorate all of us toward that colorblind equality, toward treating one another with the love and respect always that Martin Luther King Jr. called. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of our governor to Frank and Loretta Terrain for continuing to drive us together as a community in togetherness, in colorblind equality.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have now come to a part of the program where you all can be involved. And I'm going to say this, lunch will now be served, and I'm sure most of you have been enjoying it already, so please feel free to continue. But as they prepare to serve our lunch, I'm going just to recognize a number of our special guests. I will continually do this, so if I don't call your name, there's probably 170 of you in the room. If I don't call your name now, I'll call it sometime during the program, all right? So I'll get through all 170 of you, okay? Plus. But we want to recognize, today we have with us our own Dr. Virginia Horvath, who is a president of Fredonia State University of New York at Fredonia. We have representatives also from the League of Women Voters. We are happy to have them with us on this evening. If they could just wave their hands. Thank you. As mentioned earlier, our district attorney, Patrick Swanson, is here. Where are you, Patrick? There he is. Thank you. From the Dunkirk Teachers Association, we have representatives from that organization. From the Dunkirk Housing Authority. And we also have with us a number, we really appreciate this group because they always come to us in large numbers, and we like when young people are with us. But we have representatives from Cassadaga Job Corps. They could just wave their hands. Our Assemblyman Andy Goodell is with us today. And I said this last year, but he truly proves it to be true. He's one of our biggest supporters for the Juneteenth celebration, and we do appreciate him. It is Ron Hall and Hometown Insurance Company. We have Village of Fredonia. Their school board representatives are here. I can't see everybody. There we are. We also have Dunkirk School Superintendent James Tracy and his wife are here with us today. We have members, thank you, and members of the Dunkirk School Board, Claudia Serbaki and Betsy Ramos, and Loretta Terrain. A group that I hold dear to me, Upward Bound. Where are you, Upward Bound? There we are. All right, please enjoy your lunch.